Okay, so we're doing a little bit of work here on the heater flaps, and as you can see, these this one tucks in here, and there we go. And a lot of people talk about, oh, they don't do anything, they don't do anything. But if you look at this, this directs that air straight down this way at the heads. This flap, which is a large-ish flap, and this one here, keep the air from going too far this direction, just over the jugs. Most of it blows over the heads this way. And if you look deep up inside of the fan housing itself, you can see the air is columned that way so that when these are up in the car right, most of that air gets blown over the heads. And then this guy, this is the put that one on there. There we go. There we go. So that's the lever for it, and you can see it controls those opening and closing. And even as it starts to open, it's blowing air across the heads before it gets to the rest of the cylinder. So it's really sending that air over the heads where it needs to go. That's the hottest part. Now, what I need to do is figure out how to use these dang little clips to get them clipped on there, onto those parts. You can see some are already on here. They're missing some washers. There's supposed to be a washer there. I got a little stack of parts here. And then there's a spring also that when this, if the thermostat fails open, and also these with the spring will fail open, and that spring attaches to that little hole right there and somewhere else. And I gotta find out where that somewhere else is. I have a couple ideas where that might be, but it might just be over a bolt or something. So we'll see. But that makes sure that all the flaps are open if it fails. So I'm going to stick these on, and I'll bring it back if I figure out how to put on this little clip. All right, I wouldn't be too scared of these little clips. I think I can even put this one on one-handed. You got to push it down over the little pin there. That little guy right there. And if you look on the clip here, it's a little oblong shape. And you push it down kind of over the end. You gotta push the whole thing down. There you go. I don't even know if you saw that, but you push the whole thing down over that oblong hole and then slide it that way and it'll slide on. But now we've got the whole system working here. So that'd be closed, and that'd be open. The spring goes from this little hole. The spring is here, and then there's a hole here on the doghouse. There should be. I might crimp that closed because it does have a little bit of slot to it. I don't know what the deal is with that, but this is the way it seemed to go on. But you can see that spring will pull it back and open it up. That's kind of a double safe. So well, let me get a thermostat here. So here we have two thermostats. Can you tell which one is good and which one is bad? This is the good one. This is the bad one. And it's a spring that fails expanded. So when good, it's contracted like this. And somewhere on top here should be the temperature rating. On the bottom, it's somewhere, it's like around 250 degrees or something like that. But this one has failed, and it fails expanded like this because this little rod right here, this rod in this bag, which you can't see very well, I'll take it out in a second, it connects to this little lever right here. So when the thermostat is down, like that one, this is closed. As the heads heat up, it starts to slowly push that rod and allow that spring to pull these vanes open. If it fails like that, fully open, and the spring helps. So we've got, this is fail right here. When it's closed, when it's actually working, like that one, and the thermostat is fully seated, then it looks like this. Now you can adjust these too to control for temperature just by spinning the thing, in theory. But this one is, oh no, you don't spin it, sorry. You've got a walled out attachment here, so that goes to the block and you can slide it up and down. It doesn't spin. You actually want it seated in there. So I got a bad thermostat in a really nice bracket and a good thermostat in a rusty bracket. So I'm going to do a little swap here. I'm still going to keep this expanded one. They're just kind of cool. There is a guy on thesamba.com who sells brand new thermostats. They're still manufactured by a couple people. There is a replacement that you can get made in Brazil. They put them on some of the Mexican Beetles also. When it fails though, it fails in this position. I think really it just breaks and doesn't work at all, which is why you'd want that spring. And not a lot of people have that spring. It usually rusts out or falls off or something. So if it fails, you could fail close and overheat your engine. That's why these are always better. They're about, I've seen them from $60 to $100 on eBay and on thesamba.com and on Facebook marketplaces and stuff. You can find them there too. But I happened to buy two from a guy because of the brackets and stuff. Like I said, I'll just keep this one for fun. They're not repairable. You can't do anything to fix that. But we do have a good one here. So that's all about thermostats and the flaps. Let me pull this out of here just a second. There's the cat. She's helping. All right, so here's the rod, and this is a used reclaimed rod, but it would stick in here like this. And that's what pulls on your flaps. There's a little clip that goes on the end of that. I'm not going to put it in yet. And it screws into the top of the thermostat. So when you take this all apart, you know, you've got to take care to get that rod out of there. But that's how the whole thing works. I think it's ingenious. I love mechanical stuff like that. People tend to just rip them out because their thermostat's bad, or they say it causes it runs cooler without it. I don't know. It might, but in my eyes, these fins will direct heat to the hottest part of the engine, the heads, as that thermostat changes. And also, you're going to get a lot more air through your heater channels while the engine's warming up. Air is not going to go over the cylinders. It's going to go through the heat system. And the inside of your car is going to heat up sooner for you. That doesn't matter if you're in SoCal or in Florida or somewhere like that, Arizona, but here in the high altitude New Mexico, it gets cold in the fall and even the spring. Right now, today, it was 70 degrees, gorgeous driving weather. I don't have an engine, can't drive, obviously. This morning, it was 28 degrees. And if I wanted to drive to work, I'd have to wear my down parka. So even in spring here, we get cold mornings and really warm afternoons. Days have gone where I've used the heat on full blast in the mornings and the air conditioner on full blast going home. It's just the way it is in the high desert. So there's everything you want to know about the fins, and I'll show you the rest of the heating system once we start getting the car back together. One more little trick. In summer, if you don't want any heat at all and you want to keep air from blowing over your heat exchangers and getting into the car, freeze plugs. Get the same diameter, stick it in there, put your tube on. No one will ever know. You'll never get air through your heating system.